a few minutes after eliminating Ding Qiuyu's zombie. Only Lu Xing remained in the area. The new power surging into his body took him a few moments to comprehend. It seemed like he could no longer hide it. That was fine. Over the past year, he had consumed an immense amount of energy. He had lost track of how much alien marrow fluid and other high-level energy sources he had absorbed. In any case, the blood alchemist had already condensed an unlimited supply. Breaking through condensation, the number of immortal cells had skyrocketed. Currently, he had 183 immortal cells, 9 times more than a year ago. The actual number had surged beyond expectations. Previously, he had already been capable of killing a martial saint. Now, he didn't even dare to estimate his own power. However, his body had reached its limit. The stellar markings had spread all over his body. If he wanted more immortal cells, he had to reach level 9, harnessing the power of the grand world to break the constraints of the stellar immortality stage. But level 9. Right now, he couldn't even merge the 3 energy sources. Qi and spirit were one. But establishing his own Dharma aspect or creating his own martial imprint was another challenge entirely. The accumulated power was overwhelming, causing him to ponder deeply. For example, for an ordinary Zhao Ji, martial saint, merging the 3 energies was as simple as kneading 3 lumps of dough together, effortless and straightforward. But for him, it was nothing like that. The process was akin to merging 3 massive steel spheres. No, it was more like combining 3 suns into one, without allowing the volume to increase. Simply put, without flames 1,000,000 times hotter and pressure tens of thousands of times greater, success was impossible. Pressure. He needed pressure. An unprecedented level of pressure. Only by enduring a historically unmatched level of pressure could he complete this step. And this type of pressure was not something an ordinary martial saint could create. At that moment, voices from outside reached Lu Xing. 2 people were arguing loudly. Looking outside, he saw Nepson and his assistant engaged in an intense dispute. Even without hearing their words, he understood Nepson had reached his limit. Well, it was the right person at the right time. It was time to go outside and seek some pressure. After all, after a year of interactions, it was only fitting to help Nepson fulfill his dream of a divine descent. At the research facility's main gate, multiple powerful attacks struck it repeatedly. But the gate refused to open. The professor had activated the defense mechanism, making it impenetrable, even with advanced weaponry. The people outside were furious. They believed Nepson had betrayed them. That bastard dared to activate the highest level of defense. I'll skin him alive! Someone roared. What do we do now? Another asked hesitantly. We'll contact Harold. Only he has the research facility's key. With the key, we can open the gate immediately. Such a simple solution. Yet the martial artist cheered as if it was a stroke of genius. Finally! Nepson will pay for this. That cunning bastard! 10 minutes earlier, at the border of Golden Ring Island, 2 bright streaks shot through the sky before crashing down violently. A woman in a short dress, who had been waiting for a long time, saw the rising smoke and immediately greeted them. Welcome, esteemed lords. Marshal St. Harold has already led the highest-ranking forces away from the island. Only second-tier forces remain here, she reported. Emerging from the smoke was a deep male voice filled with amusement. Well done, Katie. The 2 streaks of light turned out to be a middle-aged man with a burly frame and massive wings resembling those of an eagle. Beside him stood a younger man, his slick back hair gleaming with gel as he took a drag from his cigarette. The winged man had an imposing and fierce expression, almost demonic, but his grin toward his companion was bright and unsettling. Lei, your plan was a success. The other man smirked confidently. This is the first successful collaboration between Dark Star and the Black Demon Society. By the time Harold realizes it, Golden Ring Island will already be reduced to ruins. During the battle against Lu Xing, The Black Demon Society had lost more than half of its top elites. Instead of allowing themselves to be divided and weakened by the struggle for energy essence between Ring Seal and Dark Star, it was better to strike first, crippling Ring Seal's headquarters before they could react. That way, Dark Star would gain 80% of the benefits. This strategy would not only minimize their losses but also allow them to seize additional advantages. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The two men strode toward Ring Seal's base on Golden Ring Island, intent on destroying it together. I can't wait to see Harold's horrified expression when he returns, Lei chuckled. Once Ring Seal is crushed, dealing with the Black Demon Society and Dark Star will be much simpler. Inside the laboratory, as the defensive systems gradually weakened, a green-haired woman monitored the external situation through security cameras. She quickly turned to report to the professor. They're looking for Harold to get the key. What should we do? Nepson himself had no idea what to do. He was just a researcher. His strengths lay in intelligence and eloquence. If they managed to break in, he would have no means to resist. What can I do? He muttered to himself. I've already bet everything. Can you hear the heartbeat of that day? It grows stronger and stronger. A powerful rhythm, yet devoid of any sign of life. Nepson, out of options, turned to a spiritual solution, kneeling in prayer. O Divine One, please awaken. My God, please hear me. Nepson began to show true despair, pleading desperately. Please, let the world know the truths that have been buried by time. My God! The screen flashed red repeatedly. The defense system had only 15% power remaining. Every second was being counted, yet the divine being remained motionless. Professor, the protective barrier is about to deactivate automatically. Only 15% time remaining. Nepson's heart sank. Was this really the end for them? At that moment, as if the deity truly heard Nepson's lament, a crackling sound came from the experiment chamber. A tiny fracture appeared on the containment shell. Both Nepson and his assistant froze in shock, unable to believe their eyes as the cracking grew louder. Then, with a thunderous shatter, the glass chamber exploded. The liquid inside did not gush out like a broken dam but instead receded, revealing Lu Xing's face. His eyebrows twitched slightly. Moments later, he slowly opened his eyes, revealing irises as deep and tranquil as the sea. Raising a hand gently, a surge of energy immediately enveloped his body. Without saying a word, his entire form ignited with powerful energy. Out of nowhere, a full set of clothes flew toward him, wrapping around his body with impeccable precision. This transformation was unlike anything seen before, undeniably an act of divinity. Both Nepson and his assistant let out ecstatic cries. The deity has awakened! Nepson rushed forward, overcome with joy, his voice filled with reverence. Oh, great deity! You have finally awakened! Welcome to this world! Your radiance shall illuminate all! He seemed as though he wanted to touch the divine being, yet he dared not. He hesitated, fearing the cold gaze of the god. But then, the god spoke. Nepson, you have done well. I know everything you have done. Just that single acknowledgement sent waves of excitement through Nepson. His face flushed red with exhilaration. I have been recognized by the divine. My life is fulfilled. Lu Xing pulled out a glowing purple stone that radiated an enchanting light and asked, This is what you spoke of? The so-called energy essence? Nepson and his assistant immediately dropped to their knees. Yes. This is the treasure that even level 9 martial saints would go mad over. The energy within is immensely powerful. A small fragment in your hands holds the same energy as a miniature nuclear reactor. I see, Lu Xing replied. On the surface, he maintained a proud and indifferent expression, as if he had only asked out of curiosity. But inwardly, he was smirking. This was a huge gain. No wonder his immortal cells had increased by 7 just now. This little thing was quite useful. He decided to keep one as a sample. Anything valuable should be secured immediately. Then, Lu Xing nodded. Thank you for awakening me from my deep slumber, Nepson. The professor's admiration only deepened. It is my greatest honor. My lord! May I ask for your divine name? Lu Xing's gaze landed on a phone lying on the table. Without hesitation, he picked it up. Might as well let those who need to know that I'm safe. He casually answered. My name is Lu Xing. Then, he swiftly dialed a number, causing the green-haired assistant to lean toward Nepson and whisper. This deity seems a little strange. What do you mean? Nepson asked. He looks glorious and majestic to me. But when they saw Lu Xing casually taking a selfie with the phone, they finally understood. Yes, this was indeed strange. Why did he not have any ancient aura about him? Not only that, he was skilled at using modern technology. An ancient deity that had just awakened, yet he could operate a smartphone effortlessly? Yes, it was indeed strange. Before Nepson could voice his thoughts, Lu Xing suddenly glanced toward the door. Something was wrong outside. There are 2 level 9 martial saints slaughtering warriors. Another level 9 martial saint is approaching the island. Nepson's heart clenched. He had only expected those people to come and collect their debt. How had it turned into a battle? Suddenly, alarm sirens blared throughout the facility. Neither Nepson nor his assistant had a chance to process the situation before their wrist communicators beeped urgently. This is bad. Lucia's voice came through. The Second King's seal has betrayed the organization. Dark Star and the Black Demon Society have joined forces to attack Golden Ring Island. All King's seals and Sex seals have fallen. Professor Nepson, you and your assistant must escape immediately. Golden Ring Island is about to fall. Lucia urged the professor to run. They could not allow years of research to fall into enemy hands. But Nepson was frozen in despair. Had he really just awakened the divine being, only to have to flee right away? No. He couldn't run. Falling to his knees, he clasped his hands in a desperate plea. O Divine One! I beg of you! Please save Golden Ring Island! Please save Ring Seal! Lu Xing slipped his hands into his pockets and took a step toward the door. Only a single sentence drifted back to Nepson. So, this is your first wish? Then as you desire. Lu Xing turned his head slightly and gave him a smile. But Nepson had no idea. Lu Xing was smiling not at him, but at his own luck. He had been looking for some pressure. And now, it had come right to him.